Right now at 6 o'clock, a Connecticut police chief had his own day in court. We'll tell you the 3 new charges that Michael Finkelstein is facing.
And renters beware, a place to call home now costs more in Connecticut than any other state in the nation. We are talking to fed up tenants this morning.
Also, the trial of Karen Reed, the Massachusetts woman accused of killing her boyfriend, is just about to wrap up soon. Her fate will be in the hands of the jury. We're going to break down who she is and what investigators claim she did.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I'm Tim Lammers.
And I'm Symphony Privet. We hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday so far. Let's go ahead and get you caught up with what's happening outside. Checking in with meteorologist Rachel Piscatelli. You are also rocking the yellow this morning.
Absolutely.
We're celebrating another beautiful day of sunshine.
You know, I figured because there's going to be an abundant amount of sunshine out there, I might as well dress for the occasion, right? Yeah, very warm, but not as humid today. Temperatures will be on the rise. Yesterday highs were only in the upper 70s too, near 80 degrees. Today we'll be closer to that 90-degree mark. Here's what it looks like over in Groton right now. You can see the boat kind of off in the distance currently. Temperatures around 64 degrees. Dew points very comfortable when you're stepping out the door. Mid-50s over in Groton with winds out of the northwest around 5 miles per hour. Current numbers elsewhere, upper 60s New Haven and Bridgeport, near 60 in Danbury now, 59 degrees in New Milford. Taking a look at our humidity, it is comfortable. We have that blue color across the state right now, and we are going to remain pretty steady in terms of our humidity. Not expected much in terms of that over the course of the day today. So with the heat does not come that humidity rather. So winds out of the west and northwest around 10 miles per hour by 2 o'clock. Temperatures up around 88 degrees in Willimantic today, near 90 in Hartford, upper 80s New Haven and Bridgeport. We will be tracking some rain and some thunderstorm activity for tomorrow and increasing that humidity too. We'll detail that out for you coming up in just a bit. On the roadways this morning, we don't have much to get to, but we do have some areas of road work over in Hartford causing a delay. That should be wrapping up momentarily, so that's probably why we're seeing the delays out there now. So stretching into the capital this morning, 84 westbound, seeing those delays, and you can see that there on your screen there where we're seeing those delays as you're traveling into downtown this morning. So give yourself some extra time and plan accordingly. New Britain Ave to the Hartford Tunnel, 5 minutes eastbound 84, westbound Route 2, Glastonbury to the Founders Bridge is a 6-minute drive. Back to you.
Well, a new study has ranked Connecticut as the worst state in which to rent a home or apartment, citing rental prices that are too high for what many people at least, are earning each month.
Yeah, renters tell us they're falling behind just a little more each month. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin joining us live in Hartford with a look at that study. What have you learned, Brooke?
Well, we all know, of course, this isn't new information, that it's pretty difficult to pay rent right now. That's been the case for a couple of years. Maybe you're having to give up other things like paying your other bills, or maybe even just having to give up food a little bit every month, every week. But that is not something new. The new thing is that Connecticut is actually the most difficult place to try to rent a home or an apartment in the entire country. But there's a lot of reasons that is the case. Consumer Affairs releases an annual report of the best and the worst states to try to rent in. Now this year, unsurprisingly, 4 out of 6 New England states are some of the worst, while the Dakotas and North Carolina are some of the best. The study shows less than 4% of all currently built rental units are available. The supply and demand adding to skyrocketing rental costs. The report shows that the median cost of a 2-bedroom apartment in Connecticut is around $1,400. Now keep in mind, if you're making $60,000 a year, your paycheck is only coming out to around $1,600, depending on your financial choices, leaving very little wiggle room when it comes to handing over that rent check every month.
For most people, their monthly rent is their biggest bill that they are paying. So for that to jump 20, 30, 40% within just a couple of years is just a real pain point in people's budget and quality of life.
Now, there are things that are being done here in the state of Connecticut on the local level that should, in time, help fix those numbers. Now, one of them being funding that is coming from state and federal resources to try to help people get into different housing options. There's another option, though, that the governor announced just a few months ago. He says that they're turning old, dilapidated rental units into ones that people can live in, especially for affordable options. And that's something that we'll see over the next year or two. Live in Hartford, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Alrighty, thank you, Brooke. We'll check back in with you later on. Right now, 6:05. East Lyme Police Chief Michael Finkelstein is in more hot water this morning.
Yeah, he's facing additional charges after he was first arrested on what police are calling domestic violence-related charges. Now, Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro joins us live outside the East Lyme Police Department with the latest on these two new arrests that happened yesterday.
Hey, good morning, guys. And Finkelstein is asking the judge to consider some type of diversionary program that would allow him to complete some family violence prevention classes in order for all of these charges to be dropped. The decision on that has not been made just yet, as he is now facing these three additional charges. Those charges, they include violation of a protective order, making a false statement, and also disorderly conduct. Now we have some video. Take a look of Finkelstein as he was in court yesterday facing these two new warrants, including those three new charges. He was first arrested, remember this, earlier this month on misdemeanor charges for disorderly conduct and second-degree breach of peace. In that case, a woman living with him told police Finkelstein punched her in the face during an argument. Now, state police say the new violation of a protective order and false statement charges, those stem from the days following his arrest. A protective order was issued requiring him to surrender all of his weapons. Well, according to court documents, Finkelstein only surrendered his service weapon, claiming that was his only gun. Turns out investigators later found two more guns registered to him that were unaccounted for, one of which was sold to somebody else nearly a decade ago, but a transfer of ownership was never filed. Now, that new disorderly conduct charge, that comes after state investigators reinvestigated a similar domestic disturbance incident at Finkelstein's home. This was in June of last year. Originally handled by East Lyme Police, no charges were ever filed in that case. Now, as for the status of Finkelstein with the police department here in East Lyme, the latest update we got is that he is on paid administrative leave while all these court proceedings play out, and an acting police chief is in place. We are live in East Lyme this morning. I'm Angelo Bafaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Angelo, thank you for that report. Of course, it's a story we will continue to follow in the weeks and months. Moving on now, two twin 3-year-olds from New York City are still in the hospital this morning after police said their father tried to drown them in West Haven over the weekend. Romney Desronville of Flushing, Queens, fought back tears at times yesterday and stood with his head down while he appeared before a judge. He's facing 2 counts of attempted murder and other charges. West Haven police said it all happened very early Saturday morning when an officer who was on patrol went to Dawson Avenue Beach and, as it turned out, was in the right place with only seconds left to act.
One officer saw the vehicle, radioed to another to come to check it out with him, and then they both, when they got there, heard the screams from the water.
Those children had 2 guardian angels that night, and it was Officer Williamson and Officer Miller.
Yeah, those officers wound up going about 100 yards offshore, keep in mind in the water in the dead of night, to make that rescue. And reportedly, both toddlers are improving. They've both been taking off breathing tubes as they continue to recover. Desronville's being held on bond this morning, and a judge also ordered him to undergo a mental health evaluation. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has reached a plea deal with the federal government. He's expected to plead guilty to a felony charge related to his alleged role in a huge breach of classified materials. Prosecutors agreed to a 5-year sentence, which Assange has already spent in a British prison. Assange is heading to a U.S. territory out in the Pacific Ocean, where he'll enter the plea in court tomorrow.
The president of the teachers union in Enfield has something to say after reports the town council approved an additional $5.6 million to cover a shortfall in the Board of Education budget. Now, last Friday, the superintendent told Fox 61 money will only go to this year's budget and it won't impact cuts to cover next year's $9.5 million budget gap. 130 staff members are being laid off. Sports in the middle school and 9th grade will be eliminated, and more kids will be crammed into each classroom. In response, the union told Fox 61, quote, "The vote does not properly fund our education budget or bring back the dedicated teachers who have been laid off. We will continue to work with town officials, urging them to fully fund our schools and stop jeopardizing the future of public education in Enfield," end quote.